Hey, my name is Chad. Welcome to this video. I wanted to talk about a topic that has been somewhat controversial that I have noticed in the past couple of years. So make sure you're subscribed. Please like this video because it might get a little on the bad side of YouTube. We'll see what happens. But what I wanted to talk about today is something that I've been thinking about over the last couple of years as I have gotten very interested in the firearm space, learning competition shooting, and learning more about our rights as American citizens. So we all know the Second Amendment, and if you spend any time on social media, you see a lot of people really get hung up on that well-regulated militia part of it. And really, they just focus on the well-regulated. They are applying current definitions and thinking to a word that was written hundreds of years ago. So I got in, did some digging online, found a couple of articles that were like trying to dissect each couple of words of the Second Amendment. And, you can find some articles that will enforce your thoughts one way and different articles to enforce your thoughts a different way. So what I wanted to do with this is show some actual examples of what well-regulated would have actually meant when it was written back in the 1700s. So the best one that I can actually find is from the Oxford English Dictionary. I'm just going to read it right as I have printed it off. The phrase well-regulated was in common use long before 1789 and remained so for a century thereafter. It referred to the property of something being in proper working order. Something that was well regulated was calibrated correctly, functioning as expected. Establishing government oversight of the people's arms was not only not the intent in using the phrase in the Second Amendment, it was precisely to render the government powerless to do so that the founders wrote it. I mean, that's out of the Oxford English Dictionary, okay? That should explain it very well to people that have problems understanding that concept. But it comes down to well-regulated meant that the militia was able to perform its functions as expected. So what I think about it in current terminology is when I look at my pistol like this here, this is a well-regulated pistol because I know that it's going to do everything that I expect it to do when I take it to the range and use it. To prove that fact, this is a magazine with a couple of snap caps loaded into it. So you can see, it's just snap caps. So that one's going to eject, load a new one in, snap. So you get the point. Let me show you another one. And to do this, we'll actually use this new 9 reloaded mag loader that I got. I thought this would be a good chance to show off the single load capability of this. So instead of doing like I showed in the short where you can just run it along and pick up 5 or so at a time, it's got this little plastic piece here, slides down and turns it into a single load adapter. Get your mag loaded, and then you drop it in base first. Boop. And what I've noticed is this works as you're pulling on it. It is pushing the follower down, and then this front lip right here, after the round drops in, it is pushing it back. So the main pistol that I use, my Shadow Systems, clear right now, all empty. I can see you. Okay, same thing. I loaded up with snap caps. Unfortunately, they do not like to eject quite like a normal round. But as you can see, this is a well-regulated pistol right here. So I know when I take this to the range, it is going to do what I need it to do. If I have this in my inside the waistband holster and I pull it out and need to use it, it is going to do what I expect it to do. Well regulated, in good working order. Remember that. Okay, now we'll take a look at my Taurus TX22. Got a couple little snap caps in here, but same thing. Okay, get the idea? So that performs as expected, as intended. This is a well-regulated Taurus TX22 competition. So that is some examples of things being actually well regulated as intended by the founders. So those pistols are in good working order. They do what they are intended to do. So that is what the founders wanted our militias to be: properly maintained, ready to do their job when and if needed. Now let's take a look at the other side of that equation. So my dad has quite a few older firearms floating around the barn, things that just haven't been used in years and years and years. And I found two examples of what I would consider not well regulated. So this first one here, this is actually a Mossberg shotgun, but as you'll see in a moment, there is something wrong with the lifter, and it does not eject the shell from the tube and load it onto the lifter. You can see, empty. All right, so I've got a couple of 12 gauge snap caps. Now, they stay put up in there like it's supposed to, all right, but we'll release. Okay, that should have loaded the shell. Here we go again. Nothing. Obviously, something is not right here. Still nothing. So earlier when I was testing this out to see if it would work, it did actually drop one out and loaded it, and then it hung up on the second one. But as you can see now, trying to show that again, it's not doing anything. So what I think is there's a little tab in here that keeps the shell up inside. I can press on that, manually release it. Obviously that's not going to work if you're out in the field hunting for some birds and you need to actually take a shot quickly. So let's try it without that one. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so something's just bound up there and causing that lifter, or that little spring there is not properly releasing to allow it to come down. Something, if I get time, I'm going to try to fix this up so my dad can take it back out bird hunting again. But I stay pretty busy. I don't know if I'm going to have time. But that's an example. So this is not a well-regulated shotgun. It does not do what it is intended to do every time reliably. So, something to think about. Let's take a look at one more. Okay, now this one is kind of interesting. This is an old Mossberg 410 bolt action shotgun. Now, this, I believe my dad said, is one of his guns that he grew up with, and I found it back in a corner of our barn, and you can see, I mean, it's covered in dust, dirt. We don't even know if it works still. So I took a look down the barrel. I want you to take a look at this. This thing is not anywhere close to being in good working order right now. Okay, so we're not going to go too awful far down in here, but this is a bore scope, and I just want to get a bit of an idea so you can see how much gunk is inside this barrel. I mean, wow. I mean, look at that. There's cobwebs. Giving it a spin there. But man. Curious if I can get it all the way down to the breech and see what kind of gunk comes out on the end of this mirror here. And see how much, man, just dirt, grime, spider webs, all kinds of messes down in here. What in the world is that? I mean, look at that. Whoa. Some roly-polies. Some nasty critters. Y'all seeing that? That is not what you want to see on the inside of your firearm barrels, all right? This is literally not in good working order. So, made it to the end there. You can see the light up above right there. Wild. So that looks like crickets and spiders. And they caught some roly-polies. Wow. All right, so that is a good example of something being very not well regulated. So that would be out of regulation. Definitely not in good working order. Okay, let's take a look. Yep, make sure you're subscribed. Check down there. Because I just had to stick my bore scope down a very nasty barrel, and I think I deserve a subscribe and a thumbs up for that. Thank you. So, whenever you hear people arguing online about, well, well-regulated must mean that we can make all kinds of laws to regulate guns, right? Remind them that was written in the 1700s, and well-regulated had a very different definition than what most people assume today. So make sure that you're keeping all of your firearms well-regulated, which means properly maintained and in good working order, so they can perform the job that you need them to do when you need them to do it. I hope I got that point across decently well. A couple examples of how things are well regulated and some things that are not so well regulated that we need to do some work on. Get my dad's old firearms back up in good working order. So if you appreciated this video, I'd really like if you dropped a thumbs up. Make sure you follow along. We've got a bunch of cool stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. It was really, really cold here in Oklahoma, so I did not get to the range this weekend, but I got some other things kind of lined out, and we'll have some cool stuff coming up very, very soon. So make sure you stick around and check out the next video. Thank you very much for watching this video about the definition of well-regulated and what it actually means. So make sure you have a great rest of your day and a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.